And Father K raised an initiative internally that we are currently discussing and deliberating on. So if that sees fruition, we should be able to help certain ex seminarians. So give them a little support in their life's journey. Rex, thanks for sharing your stories with us, and hope to see you at the bar very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mali. I will still leave the room for my co-anchors. I can see others hanging. But Fortunatus, can you flash that message again? You the previous one said, can you see when you see Rex and Mali on a cassock, you certainly admire becoming a priest. They are simple, approachable, and great. How about that? How did you hear that, Rex? Right? But God
Yeah,
has
this
a
is
job. He's taking you somewhere, right? Even Mali has not escaped.
No,
Probably some of
I was going to object to that for Mali. No, Mali, I object. That statement
okay.
gave us a sound for my ear.
Okay. Thank you very much. So
Look at this one too.
I want you guys to jump in, but also for each of you, for any one of you wants to jump in, there are areas also I want if anybody can take a bite on. Probably, maybe Father Injebet, I'm holding you to belt, where it says the bishop says no probation in my diocese, right? And then if somebody can help me digest the soft life we go through in the seminary and how it's difficult to survive outside, or is it very easy? I don't.
May I respond to what I mean by soft life, Father? Sir, may I respond?
No, it's clear. You will speak, but it's clear. We all understand.
You have thrown open. Achema, I think you just hit. I was making notes. I was backstage at a section of the conversation that touched on three things. There's one addition to the two things you raised that also struck me in Rex's story is the fact that he spoke about his parents putting him on a monthly stipend, his uncles calling, and all of that. The joy of the priesthood, your first mass, that 1 year that you can bless people and pray for people in a special way with that special grace and all of that is so huge, so much so that I tend to wonder. I've been wondering about this. I have a couple of priest friends. One of them is on here watching, that I questioned when somebody discerns out, do they have that same support system, that friendship? Father Jeffo kind of drew a great map of everybody who is involved on this journey. But when that person discerns out, what is the support system of friendship created? If already seeing the person talking with a female becomes a thing in the seminary, how then do you create a support system? You end up in the parish. The many people will go come look for you for parish. Now women they come, and then go cook, and then go bring food, come give you. In fact, there is a saying that we have in the eastern side of Nigeria that if you go to a church and Igana church, mandene nabatahage, korangongo gela. Justin, you want to translate that, or Fortunatus, you want to translate it? Nigaro parish. I don't want to translate it, but it just simply means, again, for anybody who wants to translate, you can take it.
Yeah, if the women are not welcome in the parish, just pack your things and go, because you're not really welcome in the community.
That's how powerful it is, that relationship, right? So when I heard you say that, Rex, I was very happy, and I'm like, I wish for everyone who will come on this video, please know that the seminarian, who is a potential priest in formation, is also a human being who is potentially to something else if he discerns out of seminary. Please be friends with them and support them, not only when they wear the cassock. If they remove that cassock, please stand by them. They need you more even at that time than any other time. To the question about probation, when he shared that, and there was a kind of a caveat to it, because Rex, you said you also know that there were others who had been on probation. The question for me, once you said that, first of all, it just shouted injustice to me, which is a big question for me as a person. We have to bring justice to be a very relatable thing. Justice should not be far-fetched. It should be something that is appreciable. We can see it happen, and we must see it as being done. It must be visible, so that way you compare, and there is clear policy for everybody. That if I hate you, Rex, and I want to kick you out of seminary, and there is a standardized policy where we all know that once a seminarian has an quote-unquote issue, they are on probation, the policy should hold the same for everyone else. That way, my personal hatred for you, Rex, and I say this hatred, some people might say strong language, but it's real, it's a human thing, and it also exists in the system. And so if I hate you, then I cannot met out my hatred towards you, because there is an accountability system, there's a check system. Now, the question becomes, what is probation? Because if it's that, I see a little bit of a darkness, a dark cave where a young man is pushed into and there is no help. Maybe your bishop says to, or your vocation director says to you, well, it depends on the bishop. You go to your bishop, the bishop says, well, it depends on what the formation, your formators will say. And you are caught in between two authorities and no one is bringing clarity. Someone had shared earlier on this platform in one of the stories that have been shared here, where they said Cardinal Nikon had to ask a question to them about what the formator had said about phone or something like that. And that Cardinal Nikon ended up saying, you know what? Go back and let them teach you how to use the phone. So what is probation? If we understand what is probation, that you're probing something, you're looking at what that thing is, you're considering whether it needs to be a tweak or not, that seminarian, to all formators, need to understand what is it that needs to be formed. Nobody comes to the seminary fully formed. In fact, even after being ordained, there is ongoing formation, something that Prince Chidi had said in one of our times we've been on here. So that idea of formation, which is consistent and continuous tweaking, should begin from the seminary. That when a young man is told that you have an issue, I put it quote unquote, it might be that he is not very alert to time. We in a vocation, I think every other vocation where people are very much time conscious, he's always coming late, and this has been consistent. The formator calls them and sit with them and try to make, okay, Rex, you did come late all this time. Is there something, how can we help you? Do you need to set your alarm 2 hours before? So then you're probing something. But to say that there is no probation, I think is a kind of an anathema seat of sorts, where it's just like boom, and it kills what formative values can be added to the young man's life or to a young person's life who is under formation. The last thing you had asked about was, you said probation, and there was something else, Achemo, that you mentioned. You're muted. You're muted.
The soft life for priest seminarians,
yes.
and how seminarians.
Yes. I really would want to put Fortunatus on the spot on this one, because I want to say it. What I want to say it and pass it to him, because we've had, he's my brother, he's my friend, we've had a lot around this. Here is the truth. In the seminary, you walk on a clock, and there's a danger of not realizing the multiple hands behind the scenes that make you attend to that clock. A very simple example will be food preparation. You come to the refectory and there is food. Sometimes these days, I end up eating probably once, because it occurs to me I've not eaten, I have to look for a restaurant, branching somewhere and eat, because if not, I have to cook. There are certain realities that changes. When you're in the seminary, you are kind of shielded in a way, because you are formed for a particular kind of function. or a particular kind of response to society. So I don't want to say it's soft life, but I want to say it's a formation that leads you to a particular manner of service to God's people. And that can shield a young man from the actual realities in life. Nobody will cook for you, for example. You will need to buy your own credit by yourself to earn money. Think about the fact that we talk about adulthood in a scam. That when you become an adult, a child only sees the good side of what the adults enjoy. You are free to do what you want. They don't know that you need to work, you need to pay rent, you need to pay bills, you need to pay and all those things before you can enjoy adulthood. I think it's the same thing in that sense. It's not so, I wouldn't think it's soft life. I would think it's shielded in a way that directs you to pay attention to more things that the everyday life might not avail you due to the hustles in it to pay attention to. I see Fortunatus has disappeared, but I wanted to pass that ball to him. Or maybe
I'm
for
here.
priests
I'm
who are
here.
in the
I'm here.
yes.
I'm
Can
here.
you share? Because I know for a fact
Yes.
that you've come with that, you've experienced that in a unique way.
I thank you for calling me. I think about it as an intentional structure that is geared towards what the seminary is supposed to produce. A formed person who's like formed spiritually, socially, psychologically, academically, and all of that. So I think of this is an outcome, this is an aftermath of a structure when you pass through an intentional structure. And I say this because I think about myself. When I got here, one of the strongest problems I had was keeping my prayer life. In the intentional space and structure of the seminary, it provided me something that I couldn't create for myself once I left. Like I had to wake up 5:15, do 10 minutes or 15 minutes of quiet time before morning mass. And after morning mass, we go straight to breakfast. Somebody prepared it. I don't even know. Like sometimes I know who prepared it, obviously. Like other times I don't even say thank you to them. Just grab my breakfast and get out, go sit in the bus, and they drive me to school. And I'm, in the bus, I'm planning how I'm going to answer this question or interact during this class. So that intentional structure is intended for good, to form this person, to take away, just like Paul says, when he was talking about marriage, that when you don't marry, you devote all your time to the gospel. So to take away all of the things that will distract you in this moment or in this space, a period of formation, so that you are better formed for the mission. Just like, I like the example Rex gave, like people in the NDA, if you kick them out at the end, they miss out on, they need some space and timing to realign themselves and readjust into society. So what Rex is calling soft life is, I think, is in our Nigerian parlance, where we say all of us know what they talk about. Like say, and I'll tell you for a fact, when I now left seminary, I didn't know the price of tissue. I did not know how much it costs to buy a roll of tissue, because we have a storeman who takes care of all of that. And this sometimes lands as an insult to seminarians. Like, do you mean I'm not man enough? Do you mean I'm not responsible? I'm not taking care of things? That's not what is meant. As a seminarian, sometimes some of us have paid WAEC school fees for people, supported people, done charity. You have handled money. It doesn't mean you've not handled money, but there are the realities of everyday life that bypass you unintentionally. Like it just is not given to you to meet those aspects of life. And those are the things that will eventually hit you hard when you step out of the seminary. So what I think that he's talking about is, how do we invite seminary formation? How do we think about seminary formation in a way that includes all of this? That includes that, okay, I wanted to take a picture and share it, but this is a jotter where I knew after I resigned from the seminary, I gave the seminary 1 month, and they allowed me. That's the beautiful thing about Schoenstatt. They gave me 1 month to stay in the seminary and plan where I was going. So during that 1 month, I met one of the women working that attends church in the seminary. And she sat down and wrote for me how to cook jollof, how to cook semo, how to do step by step. parboiled rice. This one is egusi. This one is okra. This one is rice stew. This one is oha soup. This one is ogbono soup. I have carried this since 2019. Each time I cook, I carry it. And I want to shout out to the woman who did this for me, who is Mrs. Badilo in Schoenstatt, Ibadan. So, and this is also something different with Schoenstatt, that we are close, we talk with women, people who come to worship, you can sit down with them after mass, So, and that brings me to what Rex was sharing. If there is no trust in the formation, then people do hide and seek. And that's the reason that's why we're talking about all of this. That's why we have all these casualties. That's why we have all these scandals. Because it becomes hide and seek. If there is no trust, like just imagine that Rector walked into Rex's room in the hospital and said, "Guy, how far? Oh boy, I hear that a girl came to visit you. What is her name? Invite her over for lunch, and so that we can thank her as a community for coming to do what we could not do. Maybe our seminarians were in school. Maybe our seminarians were taking exams. Invite her over for lunch on a Sunday, and we have a lunch with her. Even if Rex the Nakam, I'm speaking pidgin now. Even if Rex the Nakam, Rex will begin to have a rethink of his identity. Like, this is invitation to rethink your relationship with this person, because the community of the seminary is beginning to value you and trust you, and you question yourself at some point. This is not right. And I do not think that Rex was doing that. And I like how and what we do here is not a space to apportion blames and all that. It's really a space to sit down with this and ask ourselves, how far are we going with the basics of the Christian message? With the basics. Person day hospital. Person just get operation. And all is like, is it the case that everybody in the seminary is just missing out? Are you all missing out? So any one of you that goes out is now enjoying, even when they go out sick. I mean, this is okay. I'll leave the mic here. Thank you for calling me to talk about the
All
soft
right.
life.
Thank you, Fortunato.
Yes.
I am watching the clock ticking very fast. Father Justin, Father Brazil, I'm going to give you 1 minute, just 1 minute.
So just say Father Osofagos.
Okay, Father Osofagos, yes, thank you very much for reminding me that. Father Osofagos, I'm giving you 1 minute. Father K, you were in Bodija
All
with
right.
us too, so your voice 1 minute, right? And
Let's talk of all right. My dear brother, thank you for your openness and courage.
Go ahead, we can hear you. Father Justin?
It's frozen.
Okay.
I think it's frozen.
Father Justin, when you come back, you're going to hold on with me. Father K, I'm jumping to you quickly. Father K, Father Kevin.
What did you say about Father K?
I just want you to jump in 1 minute. You guys were
okay. This is just
up on us for interview. To remember when we had our first section, Bodija was notoriously coming up, and today we have testimony coming from Bodija. So, and you were first prefect auxiliary in Bodija. I want you to jump in on this. I'm setting you on fire right now, or setting you up. Let's go quickly.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I don't know why I can hear myself. Anyway, I'm very happy to see my brother Rex because it's been a really long while. I remember Rex very well. I remember him very well. And
okay, hold on. I think you echoed badly. I think you echoing badly. I don't know if you have two devices.
If everybody were just to mute, if everybody were to mute themselves,
let's
to
all
solve the
go
problem.
on mute. Let's only for a kid on. Farake, go on.
Okay, am I good now? I can still hear myself.
Maybe leave the stage and come back. Maybe let's try that.
Yeah, because I can hear myself echoing. I can even hear myself right here.
Is that your voice is too powerful? There's something about you and the Spirit of
Not
God
the
want you to
voice. Not the
resound.
voice.
Father K, just go out of the studio and come back while I quickly give Father.
Okay, but it's like I'm no longer echoing.
Okay, good.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
you're not. Go ahead.
All right, lovely. So I remember Rex at Devo, very nice guy. Honestly, I remember him from way back in the seminary. Very jovial fellow. Mali already said something like that. He was this very free person, you know, everybody's friend, really. He was always smiling. I remember he was always smiling. I don't know what always made him happy, but he was always smiling. I remember that. So Rex, it's good to see you again. Thank you very much for coming here to share. I was not here at the beginning, so I really did not hear your sharing. But from some of the feedback I've gathered from some of my brothers and sisters here, I can, pick one or two things. And to speak directly to what my brother Chemu has asked, I know that that seminary system we passed through had, some limitations. I know for a fact. And now that I hear you talk about, being seen with a lady and things like that, I can immediately relate with that. Because I know that back in the seminary, we had a worshiping community, right? In fact, you were instructed before masses on Sundays that you were not to be seen with any of those persons who come to the seminary to worship, especially if these persons were female. Yes. I can see my brother Angel opening his eyes. And that's true. Yeah. You were told.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the public shock. In Schoenstatt, it was the opposite. We were encouraged to engage with the lay
Oh,
faithful and the children
no.
and the men and the women. So
You see,
sorry for that public shock. It
yeah.
was sorry, my apologies.
You see, I heard Fortunatus talk about that, and I'm like, oh, really? You were always told tomorrow is Sunday, brothers, just to remind you that
We were
there'll be
encouraged. We were encouraged to build that up. We were encouraged to build that apostolate. And this
No,
is a
we
great
were
shout
not.
out to Schoenstatt. We had
Honestly, we
different
were not.
apostolates. For example, I started the children apostolate that became the youth apostolate. We had the Schoenstatt ladies movement. We had the men. So it was something we're encouraged to do. And maybe this is why when we then came into the seminary, we were seen upon, we were looked upon like, you guys are strange. Because it's God made us male and female. How do you relate with one and not with the other? Isn't that a deficit? Because in the parish, you're going to be engaging male and female. We have Reverend sisters. But yeah. I'm listening
I
to
don't
you.
know. I don't know what the situation is today in Godija, but I'm aware that in my time, I mean, that simply did not exist. As a matter of fact, I'm not saying you couldn't have female visitors. I'm saying the worshiping community, you were expressly told not to mingle with it. As a matter of fact, you were listen to this. And I do not say this to make the seminary look bad. Like Achemu said, I was senior prefect in that system, right? So I mean, if I say these things, you should take me more seriously because I was part of that system, right? So I know that in my time, you would have to go through the front entrance precisely because, the worshiping community would go through the back entrance. So if you were to be going through the back entrance, for instance, and you were not an usher, there were those every Sunday who were picked to be wardens, church wardens. So you would help people sit and all of that, tell them where to sit. If you were not part of that and you were seen going through the back entrance and a formator sees you do that, you're in trouble. So these are some of the things that, we had to navigate. If to you guys, Schoenstatt, and you're talking about how you were encouraged to mingle with the ladies, no, we didn't have that. As a matter of fact, you always had to watch what you did, how you were seen relating with females, because there was, like you said, there was this deficit, of trust. And I can imagine why that would play this very big role in Rex's story eventually, even while he was sick in the hospital, because I mean that deficit was already there. All right. So yes, this was how it was in my time. I don't know how it is now, but this was how it was in my time. And you know that that relationship was not encouraged at all. I don't know what it is now, really.
Yeah, I know we have a second person behind the scenes that we're supposed to take. But please, just
Yes.
before we jump to that, do you really mind? What do you think was the rationale behind that? What was the reason?
My brother, I wouldn't know, right? Because I mean, before I came in, that's how it was.
It was already
And
there. Okay.
as at the time I left, that is still how it was.
It'll
So
be good. It'll be good for us to find
I
out.
would
It'll be
I
good to find out.
would
Maybe
think,
there's a
and this
rationale
is,
behind it.
yeah, I would think, and this is purely speculation because I never really asked, and so I would think that some things that happened in the past, I don't know what they were, but this is just speculation. I'm just the one now trying to explain why somebody would come up with a law like that, right? So, you know, already that creates in you some psychological thing, you know. So already when you are relating with okay, let me quickly share this. I'll not take too much time. As a very young priest, the first place I worked at was the campus, right? I left seminary directly to the campus. After about 2 months in the campus environment, one young lady said to me, Father, you have a blunted affect. I didn't know what that was. Blunted affect. What's blunted affect? So I went to pick up my dictionary and I saw that it was something related to somebody who is not sensitive to the feelings of other people, in whatever context. And you know, I started really looking at that because I never thought that I was somebody who was not sensitive to the feelings of other people. But coming from a system where there was a lot of suspicion with the way you were allowed to relate, especially with you know, members of the opposite sex, I can imagine why a female in that campus environment would see me as someone with a blunted affect, right? So that's it basically. See, Ojefo is back. We should ask Ojefo.
Going to speak.
Okay.
Two things briefly. One,
Can
please.
just throw like Achemo, because this is part of the.
Did you go to Bodija Litsi?
No, it's the same thing in my Kodi seminary I went.
No, Achemo,
just
let Emmanuel throw some light to that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think that because on Sundays we usually leave mass and go to the refectory for breakfast, and of course you have to follow the front of the chapel to access the refectory. But then if seminarians, I mean, I remember that seminarians, those who went through the back door, would be chatting with the visitors when they were actually supposed to be in the refectory for breakfast, right? And that was partly the reason that rule was made, that, well, after mass, everybody should head to the refectory, because then you miss all the announcements, all of the information that will be passed if you are found with any member of the worshiping community after mass. But I don't think that it prevented seminarians from welcoming visitors. I remember that seminarians had female visitors come to see them on Sunday, on Wednesday, and they would stay in the common room, or even stay just any of the sitting locations around the compound, around the orchard, wherever. And then after a certain time, you knew when your guests were supposed to leave the seminary, and things like that. But I remember now that Father K just said this, that yes, that was the rule, and you were afraid to talk to any of those who was in the worshiping community, especially if they were not your friends that you invited to come to mass. But that's it.
All right,
Achemo,
thank you very much.
Let's bring the next person on then. Yeah.
Okay,
she's here.
Just go. She's here already. Rex, I think you're struggling with your connection, but you've heard Father John Okpara, as I call him, my Jarastafara brother, has a question for you. I call him Jarastafara. Ojefo knows that. Father Jarastafara, all the way from Philadelphia. Can you quickly throw out your question, even if Rex can take it, but probably it could be reflected upon? Quickly.
All right, thank you. I had two questions, one for him and one for all of us here. I think Father Jeffro can respond to this one. In Bodija, do you have for each seminarian a formation, a formator assigned to each seminarian who helps him to walk through his formation, to spot out his strengths and his weaknesses, or things discussed within the formation board and things that came out of the peer review that you have in the seminar. Do you have something like that in Bodija?
Can you just throw the second question also so that
Yeah. So the second question would be, in all that happened, we mentioned the institution of the seminary, we mentioned the rest, his family, his friends, the priests that helped him, but I didn't hear anything regarding the female friend who came to visit him. How was she able to process what happened, knowing that she had a part in the tragedy that happened? Every one of us here, if we had a part in something like that, we probably struggled with it. We probably was frustrated, or you were disappointed by the institution, how they handled it, or you're not even happy within yourself for being part of the tragedy. So I would like to hear from him how his friend was able to process what happened. So back to the formation advisor question. Is he back?
Okay, Father Jeffo, quickly.
Prefect is here. He has an insider knowledge.
I just came in, so I think I may be behind on the question.
Okay. Wes, thank you for sharing your story.
Let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase it very quickly. What was the reaction? How did our female friend handle the unfortunate situation that happened to you, considering that she was at the crossroad, right, of all of this? And how did she deal with it? Are you there, Rex? Okay. I guess the connection.
It doesn't seem to be there. Let me, Gabriel, please let me say something to like Rex as well.
Just hold on.
Yes.
I beg, just hold on. Father Jeffo, can you one sentence just respond to the previous question? One sentence.
I was going to pass it on to Father K. He has insider knowledge as senior prefect, so he would know. But I mean, no. The answer is no. The answer is no. No, but Father K.
No, but Father K. I was going to say. Yes, I was going to say that in my time we were like 531 seminarians. 531. I think we had about 14 formators. 531 to 14 formators. Do the math. So yeah, we didn't have that. But we had you could interact with these formators, but to specifically have formators assigned to specific students to journey with them. We didn't have that at all.
All right. Thank you very much.
And I still, yes, can I say a few things? I think that despite the number of the seminarians versus the number of formators, it is something that you can still handle. I don't think the formators are too busy. I've been in Nigerian seminary for 4 years. I don't think the formators are too busy that they cannot have at least 5 seminarians meet with them throughout the week. Then you go at the same pacing throughout the formation year. I think it's something that can still happen despite the number of seminars you have. Because the issue of race, if he had someone, a formation advisor, who he reports to, that person at least would have been able to listen to him, whether he was lying or telling the truth. He could confide in that person and say, Father, this is truly what happened. And he would go back to the formation board and say, I think this is what really happened with this seminarian. So it was him versus the formation board running hectare to different individual priests with no one that he can confide in, that can listen to him and then take whatever he says to the formation board as his advocates.
And just for
I
the
will say,
numbers, at 500, at 500 to 14, just for the numbers, Father K, sorry, Ima. Just for the numbers, at 500 to 14, you're looking at about 35 students per formator in a school year.
So you can do that in a semester.
Well, as a counselor here, you're able to hold, school counselors are able to hold 40 to even 60 sometimes, but it has to do with commitment and this mentor. Let me say rudely to you.
Are we talking about spiritual direction?
No.
No, not talking about spiritual
okay.
direction. Information journey. Let me say this rudely to you, but John Okpala, na American seminary, you go see that one. You need to see for Nigerian seminary.
Why you go talk like that? Me, I get a problem with that way you talk now. Why you go talk? Why you know if you do it? What is so problematic?
I'm not saying we cannot do it. I'm not saying we cannot do it, but that has not been
do it. This is a challenge. We're in the public space, right? This could be an invitation to the rectors to consider this, to the formators to consider it. If it's working somewhere else, can we look for a way to have it? It might not be cut and paste, but is it possible? If it's possible, we are people of infinite possibilities.
Thank you for the Angelbert, right, for that angle. But at this point, I'm bringing a closure to Rex, right, stories. We will touch base with him again, one-on-one. Those of us who do a follow-up checkup, right? But my sincere plea to all those informations, to prefects, right, using Father K as a point of contact to all of you. If you know you've been responsible for anybody leaving the seminary, whether knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, intentionally or unintentionally, right? I know Father K did not do that. He's my very good brother and friend, I know that. But I'm just calling him out as a prefect. Please, call them one-on-one. Help them in this process of healing. If you can have a conversation with them, right? I'm not necessarily saying go and kneel down to apologize to them, but initiate, especially if you are a priest. I don't want to mention name. My big brother from my own diocese that we had issues with. We had a wonderful conversation in 2014, and it was the beginning of my own healing journey. So please, it's a passionate appeal, right? Finally, Rex, if you can hear us or if you cannot hear us, I'll recommend a song for you, Ojo Chenemi, since you're an Igala. I mean, God is my person. Go back to God, your person who will journey with you on this narrow and unpredictable journey. He will lead you to wherever he wants you to go. God bless you. Thank you for the honor of the privilege of your story and for coming to inspire us. I will shift over the microphone.
I have a word to say to Rex. Please. I have a word to say to Rex before he goes.
Go ahead.
Sorry, excuse me.
Sister.
Yes, thank you. I've been patient. I want to appreciate Rex. I want to appreciate him very, very much for coming on this platform to share his story. And he told us the reason why he came. It's not just for himself, according to him, because I listened right from the very beginning. His intention is more to help seminarians who are living, ex-seminarians, not just particularly for himself. Yes, he acknowledged that he was hurt, the experience he went through in his final year. It can be very, very painful for anybody. But his intention, from what I could get from him, is not to come and blame the diocese or whatever. And of course, he knows that is not the purpose of this group. It is just to listen to his story, to show that we understand, and of course, to encourage him to go on. So that help that he needs for other seminarians who experience this type of thing, it's what I think also, as we are listening, we're on this program, those who are listening to us, whatever help they can give them. Because he said, when they leave the seminary, even though I don't agree with him, as some of you said that seminary is a soft ground, like when they leave, it's it's not all that easy to adapt to the society. He was lucky. He mentioned some people that helped him, and I think that's very good. And then also, I would have loved to ask him a question. He doesn't need to answer it yet because time is over and we have to listen to others. That he still wanted, or he still wants to be a priest. He applied to a diocese outside the country, and he even told if Abuja could ordain him because he has something to give. And I would have loved him, but I said there's no more time to tell us what those things that he actually enjoyed while he was in the seminary, to the extent that he still has that longing to want to be a priest. Maybe by now he has changed his mind, maybe, but it tells me that he actually also had some good experiences apart from that ugly one that he had towards the end of his formation in the 70s. It can be very, very painful for anybody. So anyway, Rex, thank you very much for sharing your story. You told us too some of the mistakes that you made in the whole process, and we can all see, here and there, all that happened. We're not blind, we're not deaf, we can see, and the greatest joy is that you are doing well in life. It's right for me to refer to you as my learned friend. So well done. God bless you, Rex. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sister. And Rex, I'm sure you hear all of this. So I'm shifting the microphone to our next guest. With me on this today is Sister Juliana, who just spoke, and Father Angel. So I'll be taking the back seat after now. So Sister Juliana, right, get ready, to take up the microphone, and I'm sure Father Angel in the Grand Kakaraka ready to help out, right? I bring on stage for us our sister to introduce herself first and foremost, and then you guys, you can take the lead from there. Daisy, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, fathers. Good evening, Sister JKO. Good evening, gentlemen, and I can see a lady there. My name is Moma Adezi Maria Goretti. Sorry, the network has been off and on from my side, but I will try to see what I can do for this short period to make my story brief. Before I start, I want to start with appreciation. Thank you for this wonderful platform, opportunity given to we, the ex-seminarians and those that walk through the process of religious life but couldn't make it. I love what everybody is doing in this platform. It's like giving a voice to the voiceless. And it's also a system whereby people heal when they speak. I love it because this platform at first was introduced to me by an ex-sister like me, Sister J, Sister Juliet. She was the one who told me about it. I said, I beg, when she told me, I said, I beg, let me, what is there? I don't, he said, no. Yes, I know you might have healed from whatever happened, but your story can inspire somebody. You can come there and encourage everybody, encourage people. Just try and see, just speak. So I've been involved in 1 or 2 live shows on Sundays, and I've seen the courage of many of the speakers, those that came out to speak, to tell their stories. And I told myself, what was there? I know that, I said, I don't think everybody, I don't think we all heal at the same, the healing comes immediately. I think the healing take a gradual process. And I also told her that I might have healed because of the kind of person I am, but the scar is still there, just like a wound. When it goes, the scar is still there. And whenever I look at the sky, I still remember. That doesn't mean I have not forgiven. I have forgiven, I have let go. But I still remember. So whenever I remember, now when I remember, I will just smile. There was a time when I remember I will become hungry. But now when I remember, I will just smile and I will tell myself, I think it's a lesson God wanted me to learn, and I've learned the lesson and I've moved on with my life. So my journey to the religious life started immediately after my youth service in 2014. After graduation, I went for service. Coming back, I'm this kind of person. Whenever I want to enter a phase of life, I seek the face of God. I don't just do it. So I found out that there's another phase of life I need to God direction to go into. Then I have to look for a job. Suitors were there. I just kind of want God to direct me. I don't want to do it on my own. Religious life was the last thing on my mind. I never have that ambition of becoming a sister. No, 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 no. In short, I run away from sisters and priests growing up because I see them as these angels that I am not fit to go near to. I don't go near to them. So this journey started when I decided to take this bold step to seek the face of God. So normally I booked a novena mass every morning. After going to morning mass, I take my time, sit down to talk to God. So during all those process, I normally hear a voice saying, "You have a mission. You have a mission." Me, I was like, "Which kind of mission be this one? I'm praying for something else. You're telling me a mission. What kind of mission?" So on two occasions when this happened, I have to go and meet my parish priest. I said, Father, oh, this is what is happening. Oh. Please, can you direct me? I don't understand what is happening. He said, okay, when you pray and I hear that voice, why don't you tell that voice to explain to you what the mission is all about? I said, fine. Again, the voice came. I said, God, I don't understand what the mission is. Explain. So it got to a point, Father was like, okay, fine. There are many missions in this life. You can be called, you can go for a mission to vocation, being a reverend sister, that is vocation, married life. He was giving me different example. I said, Father, please leave that vocation to the religious level. What the sister, that's even part, it's not even part of it. What I'm praying for now is a good job because I'm this very ambitious person. I'm a very ambitious person. I have my visions and everything, what I really want to do in life. So, and there were suitors asking for my hand in marriage. I saw that as, for me, I saw marriage at that particular time or commitment to marriage at that particular time as a setback for whatever ambition I want to have in life. So, but I was like, no, you have to take life easy now. Okay, let's start it like this. I will send you to some sisters' convent. Maybe during the weekend, you can spend time with them and do that for a month. Then after that, you come and tell me your experience, if that is kind of life you want to live. So then we were staying in Apapa. So he sent me to Apapa, the convent in Apapa. That I should go there. He had some sisters. They called the superior. So sometimes I go there to spend with them. So my idea about sisters changed when I started going. I mean, the hospitality they gave me the first day I went there, wow. I said, wow, this life is worth living. No, it's not even what I think about it, that it's all about. So, and I saw that not even, I thought sisters are those that just stay in a place, they don't do anything, they just pray, you know. So I saw that, no, these people have a life too, they are living. Some of them have their apostolate going to school, some big, they have different kind of apostolate they do. You can be a sister and still maintain whatever career you want to do. So I said, wow, but this is good. So I stayed for a moment. I went back to Father. I said, I love the life I see. I fell in love with the life, and I think it's something I can do. That was when my ambition of seeking for a job and everything it was not there anymore. What I was concentrating now is being a reverend sister. This was a vocation I denied. I don't want to wear white for waiting now. If my friends should see me, what would they think about me? No, I'm a work-get girl when I was in university. So how can I become a reverend sister? But going to the convent changed that perception. So I decided to, because I like exploring. So I decided to explore that life. So with the help of my parish priest, they were able to. That was when Eucharistic Heart of Jesus sister. That was when they sent postulant to communities to stay for a year. Then they don't have a postulant house then. So I was sent to Ururupe in Delta State to do my 1 year postulancy there. As I said, I never have any single thing. I didn't know any single thing about being a religious or even a postulant or even a novice. Because when I see the sisters, I thought everybody is one. I never knew they have different congregation that have different apostolates. It was my journey to the religious life that was an eye opener, made me see everything that sisters they have different apostolates and they have different congregation. But EAJ was the only congregation I went to. Even with the first community I went to, the way they received me, I told myself, what's the need of going to? Because father also asked me to go to Pauline, Holy Child. Holy Child was the school where I finished, but the sisters that were there and everything, I was not really triggered with their life or whatever. So I said, since I love EAJ, and one thing about me is what gives me peace is the Blessed Sacrament. So that their 1 hour adoration was one of the things that attracted me to EAJ. I said, wow, so that every day of my life I can sit in the Blessed Sacrament for 1 hour and speak to Jesus. Now this is nice. This is what I want. So that 1 hour adoration attracted me to EAJ. That was another thing I loved about EAJ. So they sent me to Europe to stay with some sisters there in the community. I was happy that I've been sent to. That was my first time in Delta State. I was happy to go to a new environment, see new people, meet new people, experience new things. So I was just doing everything with my whole heart. Although the sisters there, the superior there, she knew I was a graduate. They were running a school. She knew I was a graduate, but she never exposed me to the life of going to the school. I mean, taking me to the apostolate to help out in the school. Instead, it kept me at home. I was the domestic staff there, doing everything, house chores, washing his clothes, cooking. That was what I did for 1 year. And me, I thought it's a normal thing the postulants do when they go to community. As I said, I never have any, I didn't have any experience or anything that the apostle is supposed to do. So when I got to know that whatever I was doing there was not what I was supposed to do, was one day they said we should go for postulant. I think there's a place postulant meet in that Delta State. I can't remember. I mean, we normally have a seminar. So I met postulants like me, and they started sharing. I said, what are people saying? They said, yes. Some of them said they work in school. Some they said they work in the hospital. And among all of that was the graduate. All these were school people with school WAEC school cert. I was like, I know. When they asked me, I wasn't ashamed of myself. I said, no, this is in the community. This is what I do. They said, no, that's not what I'm supposed to do. They're supposed to fix me in the apostolate for me to do. I said, well, I don't know, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. You know, I was this open-minded because since this is the board I accepted, I decided to do whatever. Because one thing the sister there, when I went to Sacred Apapa, one thing she told me is that this life is the life of humility. So, and me, I have pride. I won't deny that. I'm this person that has pride. You can't easily bring me down. So I saw it as an avenue that there is something God wants to curtail in me. So I decided to leave my pride, to humble myself, to learn that part of humility when I was there. So some people say they are giving them allowance. I said, nobody's giving me anything. So when I came back with that mindset, I didn't tell my superior anything. I didn't approach her because the only person I was close to was one of the younger sister there. I met her. I said, sister, look at what they do. My fellow postulants told me, this is what they explain. Is it true? Sister Nana said, it's true that she doesn't know how she would tell me, but since I've started bearing all this, I should just forget it. I should bear that. I should just pray that all my sacrifice and everything, that I'll make it to be a good sister, that I should just endure. That she has talked to the superior at various occasions, She doesn't know why she keeps me at home. Well, I finished my postulancy there and everything, and I left. With what this my superior did to me and everything, I just took it that is part of the training. That's what I took it as. I took it as part of the training. I didn't talk because I know if I should say it out and everything, I might decide to go extreme. So I kept quiet. So after that, they started this postulancy house in Benin. Yes, we are the first set there. We are the first set of people there. After my 1 year in Europe, I still went there to spend another 1 year. Then that was where they have the postulancy house. Everybody stays there. This one, no more going to community. So when we went there, we were received. Even before we went there, I came back home. I told my parents my experience. They said, are you sure you want to go back? I said, I was so happy. My mind, I was so happy. There was no turning back. Because one thing I prayed about when I was seeking the face of God for all this is that I told God that if I encounter any obstacle, I will withdraw. So if this is not your will, just tell me so that I'll know what your will is. But when I was going through this road, I never encountered any of. In short, anybody I told that I'm going to do just like, they encouraged me. Most of my perspectives I bought during that time was given to me by people. So I saw it as the will of God for my life because everything was moving on smoothly. So when we went to the postulancy house to start, I met other sisters like me, other postulants like me. We started. Some were graduates like me, but most of them were undergraduate too. We started with one of the sisters there, which was our superior. So when we started, everything was moving on fine. But my superior noticed that I'm this kind of person, that I'm very intelligent, and I don't just do things for the sake of doing things. Before I do anything, I think. So what they do, it was even there I got to know that there's something like ranking. I mean, number one, number two, number three, the way you get the last person, that the first person that is number one is just like a prefect, the senior prefect among the other postulants. So what she did then was she brought the younger ones to be the prefect, our seniors. Then we the graduates, she placed us at the middle or at the end of the number, whatever. That is how they did it. So my mind was not even there. But what really got me thinking was, sister used these people, the younger ones, against we that are the graduates. In the sense that she will know that we, the graduate, we are capable of doing whatever she wants us to do or whatever task that should be carried out. She will not assign that to us. She will give it to the younger ones, and when they make mistakes, she will blame us. When she blames us, we're like, but this is what she we were there. You never gave us that tax. You gave it to them. So that was when I learned that as a sister, you have to live a life of a community. You don't have to. You have to deny your own life and live the life of the community, which means whatever the community is doing, you have to be involved, fully involved. You can't say this is what I want to do, or I won't do this because this person is doing it. No, because whatever comes out of it, everybody will be blamed, especially the senior ones. Even if you are number 10, it's even you that your blame will be higher. So throughout that postulancy year, thank God everything went well. We finished. My greatest challenge in religious life, my journey was during my aspirancy. Sorry, I'm saying postulant. Aspirancy, yes. It was aspirancy, sorry. Then my greatest challenge was during my postulancy in Ibonwo. My superior was a bully. And I mean a bully, a big bully. She bullied me throughout my postulancy year. Although she was one of the people that came for evaluation when we were in the aspirancy house. She came And then I think that was the first time of me meeting her when she came. She came and then she was kind of jovial, oh. But although I've heard a story, but I'm not this kind of person that concludes on a person with a story. I try encountering you first to know who you are. So I was like, wow, this person is going to be our personal mistress. No problem. But when we got into the postulancy, it was a different case for me. I can't speak for other, but for me, it was a different case. She bullied me. I don't know if it's because she found out I was a graduate, I was smart, I was intelligent. I don't know. Even today, I still ask myself, what did I do to this sister during that time? She frustrated my life to the extent that I made a novena prayer for her. I won't do anything. She will tell the young. She also, when we came in, also made the younger postulants, also they were above us. So she used those ones as a spy, or should I say, she used them against, especially me. Now let me speak for myself. I don't want to speak for others. She used them against me. Those ones will come, they will accuse me, they will even insult me to my presence. And I was told that in the religious life, you don't fight. You don't even me, I don't know how to insult people. So what I do, in short, tears become my food during that period. Everybody in Ibowo during that period, Prophet sisters, when they see me, I'm this happy and smiling person. But during that period, you can never see me smile. I'm always squeezing my face. Even the novices that were my friend will tell me, just bear it, smile, leave it. I say, I don't know how to pretend though. That's one thing about me. If I'm angry, everybody in the room will know I'm angry by my action. I don't know how to pretend. So why should I smile when I'm angry? And that is one characteristic I saw in sisters. Sorry to say it. Sisters are pretenders. Sorry to say it, but that's it. Some of them, they are pretenders. I found out that a sister might be angry with a fellow sister, or maybe might be upset. And you find out when they are in public places, they'll be doing as if everything is well. Meanwhile, within them, nothing, in short, within them, there is war. And I can't live that life. I found out that's no kind of life I want to live. And every day when I pray in the front of the Blessed Sacrament, what I tell God in Jesus' name, I said, please, if this life is going to make me a worse person, please take me out of this place. If at the long run, if I become a religious, this life is going to make me a sadist, please. Just I don't know what will happen, but just take me out of this place. So everybody, even during prayers, I spent time in the chapel crying, telling God that please help me. But in the moment of all those trials, it never come to my mind to pick back and leave. Because I'm this kind of person, taking up decision is not always an easy one for me. Whenever I want to make a decision, it takes time. But when I make that decision, I don't, even my family knows, I don't turn my back on it. If I don't do that, no, but in short, I won't rest. So it has never gotten to my mind to pick up my bag to go. If not, I would have left during the postulancy. I endured it. There was even a day she called me in her room and told me, you, Goretti, you think you are smart, Abby? You think you are wise? I will deal with you. I will deal with you in this postulancy. You will know. When I finish with you, you will know. I was like, what have I done? What have I done? And she will see that I'm not happy. And she will be short. My sadness is, I don't know whether is a gives her joy. Whenever I'm happy, she will make sure that she does something that will make me angry. So it got to a point. I was speaking with one of the novices one day, and I said, this is becoming too much. I have to report this sister out. And what I was told is I shouldn't try it too, that I'm not the first person neither will I be the last person. Even a sister confide in me that she wearing a prophet sister, she wearing glasses today is because of that my personal superior, because of that particular sister. That I'm not the first person, that I'm not the second person. I should just bear it and put it in prayers. I say, what? So you mean I'm not the first person that is doing this to? She said, yes, I should just bear it. I said, no, my own case will be different. That was when one of the sisters gave me this novena to perpetual help, mother of perpetual help. I never knew of the prayer. It was this situation that made me know of the prayer. She told me, say this novena and leave everything to our blessed mother. Cry to her, tell her your pains, channel your pains and everything to her. So I started that novena. I made sure before I do that novena, I went for confession. I prepared myself. I said that novena. It was during the period of that novena that I started hearing rumor that she has been removed. Me, I did not. I continued my novena. I told God, whatever is your will. If it's your will that I'm going to stay here, please do something. I can't be here just because I want to serve you and be experiencing all this pain. This cross is too much for me now. You promise that whatever cross you are giving us, there is the grace is of your grace sufficient for us. But this one is too much for me. So before the end of that novena, they moved her out. She was posted to another place, and I was so happy. That was where my healing, in short, it's not even healing. I think that was where I started a fresh of breath air came to me, because the new postulant mistress they brought to us was an elderly woman. She was in that community before they brought her to the postulancy. She was in the novitiate, and during that time, both the novices and the postulants, we prayed together in the chapel, and other prophet sisters also joined us. So they have been watching, they've been seeing what is happening. Even sometimes when I will come out to read, others will come and read and make mistake. My mistress will not give them correction. She won't say anything. But when Goreti comes out to read in the chapel, and maybe I make this mistake not intentionally, she will from where she is and call my name and say, no, it's like this. I will just say, yes, sister, I will smile and continue. She look for every opportunity to humiliate me. But I think my not giving it to whatever she's doing fuel her passion to bully me more, because she thought with everything that she's doing, I'll one day pick my bag and go, or maybe come and kneel down and beg her sister, please, it's okay. But she found out that one day she told me, everybody is having inferiority complex, but you have superiority complex. I will break you. Hey God. Anyway, thank God she left before me in the postulancy. So when the elderly sister came in, that one took me in. I mean, she took me in as a daughter. She saw that this person she was seeing is not the real Goretti. There is more to this person. She didn't tell me anything, no. She didn't say anything, but her actions towards me, because when she came in, wherever she's going, she will call Goretti. Whatever that has to do with that postulancy, Goretti is in charge. I wasn't the number one then, no. I wasn't even the number 5. I mean, it got to a point. Those my sisters she was using against me, gang up against me. I was like, why is this mistress? What is everything Goretti? She's not even the number 1, because they've always put them in the forefront. Now nobody is remembering them. Even sometimes when the sister asks me, I'll say, no, please. She said, I asked you to do this. Go and do this. Go and do it. She tried. She brought me out from my dark place to show me that there is more to religious life. They are good sisters in religious life. She gave me hope when there was no hope. So successfully, I passed through the postulancy. But The mistake I made was during our evaluation, because of the fear that has been put into me. Don't complain, don't talk. If you talk now, you might not even go to the Novi, and everything. I decided to bottle up everything. And I didn't take time to heal from those bullies because I've not been bullied before. I didn't take time to heal. Then we were admitted into the novitiate. When we got into the novitiate, I was made the number one. That was the first time in my religious journey, I was made the number one. So those my sisters that have always been above me never took it lightly. In short, we were 5 in my set. Yes, we were 5. I was always standing. It was 1 against 4. No, 1 against 3. The other person, that was the second person, she's just in between. Nothing I say, I must say, okay, sisters, let's do this for where the other person will tell me, you can't force me to do anything. You cannot force me to do anything. You can't force me to do this thing. Even though I know it's the right thing, you can't force me. I have my own choices. So it was very difficult, me working with my set. It's as if there is always war between us, because they found out that they made that novitiate for me not enjoyable. It's okay, fine. Since they made you number one now, the person that have always been number one right from the beginning, since they made you number one, let's see how you succeed. So just a gang up. And the surprising thing about it is that even our seniors, they were not even helping issue. They saw what was happening between me and my sisters. They can't even call them to order. Instead, they too supported them. So sometimes when I want to take a positive action there, I stand alone. There was a graduate among the seniors. One day she called me. Out of the novitiate, we went out. She said she wants to talk to me. I said, okay, what do you want to talk to me about? She said, the way I'm going, that she doesn't think I'm going to survive in this novitiate or religious life. I said, I don't understand. Why are you saying? He said, yes, she knows it's my person. I'm this plain person, is my personality. But with this kind of personality that I can't survive. I said, how? Okay, do you want me to pretend? But I don't know how to pretend. That is the problem. The religious, in religious life, that if you want to succeed, you have to pretend. I have to look at her. These are people that are about to be professed as sisters. She was also a graduate. She said she's telling me, nobody is there. That she's telling me the truth. That most of the things I do, yes, I might be doing the right thing, but
I think we just lost her. Is she frozen?
She's not here anymore. I'll call her right now to rejoin.
Sister JKO, just so as we try to reconnect her, just something I wanted to ask. Within the religious, so the convents and so the religious houses for female, is she coming back on?
striving to be perfect, and you are telling me
So, sister,
striving to be perfect, and you okay?
we lost you at some point when you were saying that sister told you that you have to pretend. So, if you could continue from there.
Okay. So she said that the way I'm going, that I won't be able to survive it. I said, how? She said, because if you want to make it here, you have to pretend. You have to pretend as if you are, whatever they are giving you, you have to take it. You have to play along. I said, please, I didn't do that since my growing up till this age. How can you think I can start doing that at this age? It is not possible now. Yes, I know we are not perfect. I know when I was coming to this religious life, my parish priest told me that I am not going there to meet saints. Instead, I'm not going there to meet devils in white. If I'm here striving to be perfect, and I know all of us here, we are running the same race, how can you tell me to conform to pretension? It's not possible now. That means I'm living a two-faced life. Is that what I want to portray out there? She said, she just called me because she likes me and she wants to advise me. But if I chose to live the way I'm living, no wahala. But she must wear this white too, that she has come here and she's not going back. I say, well, me, I still have choice. So yes, it's not a do or die affair. I still have choice. If it's the will of God that I'm going to be a sister tomorrow, I'm going to be a good sister, a better one at that, and not a pretentious one. So we left. She left me. So what really took me out of religion, that EAJ, was because of this problem I was having with my sisters. Sometimes even when we go for our internorvitiate class in Ibadan, coming back, we will quarrel in the vehicle, we will talk. In short, nothing I say makes sense to them. Nothing I say makes sense to them. Even I also brought this to the notice of my novice mistress. I told her, it got to a situation, I told her, please, ma, please, sister, can you please give them, make me the last number. Let them become the number one. For my peace of mind. I told her. She said, no, I have chosen you as I have chosen you. And you have to be a leader. She saw it. She saw what was happening. She saw that I was in a tight corner. Sometimes she will encourage me. So what really happened was she traveled this certain period and she left the novitiate to us. I think it was more than a week or something like that. On this Tuesday, we came back from our novitiate class. During recreation, our seniors were in the living room recreating. So I called my sisters into the library. I wanted us to discuss something. I can't remember what we wanted to discuss. I wanted us to discuss something. There was this misunderstanding between us when we came back. So I wanted us to sort out that issue. So when I called that meeting, I started talking. I told them why I called the meeting. That this is what we are supposed to do. This, that. So one of them again, she stood up. None of them were even agreeing with what I was saying. So I think with that, we got into an argument. And we started arguing. The argument got heated. That even one of us have to walk away. She went to the living room to stay with the seniors. Even the seniors did not even know we were there. So, and where we were staying in the library, underneath it, the prophet sister is a room where the prophet sisters are staying. So me and this particular sister, we started insulting ourselves. There was this confrontation between the two of us. So the confrontation led to her raising her hand to hit me. So I grabbed that hand. When I grabbed that hand, she took her slippers to hit me. So two of us were kind of, I won't say it we fought. It was a misunderstanding, which led to raising of fists. Novice mistress was not around. She wasn't around. But when we know, before we know what was happening, the prophet sisters downstairs came upstairs to the library because they had sound. Whatever we were doing, we made them that sound in the library, moving of the tables and chairs. They came up and was like, what is happening here? So when they came and they saw that it was me and my sisters, they were disappointed. They said, what? Are you fighting? I said, no, we are not fighting. We're having a. They said, but you look like we are fighting. I said, no, we are not fighting. It was a misunderstanding. So that was when our seniors came out from the living room. They didn't even know what was happening. If we were fighting, they would have had it. So when they came in, even the prophet sister, they called us downstairs. The superior then in the superior of the Prophet Sisters community called us. She was like, wow, you, ah, that she's disappointed though. Why would I fight? Sister, we were not fighting. This is what happened. She said, hey, I should have walked away. Sister, I've been walking away. But this time I think I need to make my voice to be heard. It's okay, look at what happened now. Although that night I cried, I felt disappointed in myself. I cried bitterly. The next day, we went for morning mass. Everybody was going to receive, I didn't go. This same novice, there was a graduate that came to meet me and said that he returned, came back. Why didn't I go and receive? Everybody was going. Why didn't I say, with what happened last night, I should go and receive? No, I can't do that unless I go to the confessional. I'm pained. In short, I'm wounded. You are telling me to go and receive. Receive what? So that morning, I went to meet the parish priest. I went for confession and I told the priest what happened. He sympathized with me. And I told go and tell her personally. He said, well, that will give me peace of mind. No wahala, but she will tell me to forget about it and forgive myself. I said, no, Father, I will do that. So when Novice Miswed came back, I went to her. I knelt down. I narrated everything that happened that day to her. Yes, she was disappointed because that was not what she was expecting from me. She expected more. She believed I could handle my sisters. She asked me what led to this. I said, sister, that
I guess we're waiting for her connection, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
While we wait for that, I just had a question. I wanted to have Sister Jekyll throw some light to it. Sister, sorry for putting you on the spot. You were smiling off from the beginning, and we're noting that good smile of yours. It's just to ask, within the convent and the religious houses, is there a particular scheme to say people with this kind of skill sets would assign them to this ministry accordingly? Is that like a policy, or is that the disposal? Is that the disposition of the superior to make those considerations?
I don't think there's a specific policy anywhere, but when the candidates come in, sometimes like what it depends, just as maybe at the disposition of the superior. There are some tests, some random tests they just carry out to check who has capability for doing this and for doing that, and based on that they could assign them. And also before they come in, they fill lots of forms, their talents, their interest, and all those things. So all those things are checked by the time you are giving them particular assignments that they are to do.
Yeah,
and they are asked too. Sometimes they are asked.
Just something that she raised, which I've seen a couple of comments in that direction, that I think is something which I've always wondered, and anybody on could really just speak to it. I find it a jarring thing. I've never had that experience all through my formation years in the different parts of the world I've been formed in, where somebody will just directly threaten you and say, I will deal with you. You know, that power and the formator and the formandi, a formator making like an absolute threat and a promise to a young formandi. I never had that experience. I've never had it. I've had people, treat me in a way that is wrong, and I've confronted them. I've gone openly and say, "You're treating me this way. I don't know what's going on." Can we talk about it? But that open threat, like a warning, I will deal with you, and I finish dealing with you, like you're sharing. Is that something that is? I'd never had the experience.
Let
so
me.
Well, Father, wait. Father is asking me the question.
Yeah.
Okay, it's for
Yeah,
Sister
Sister
Ife.
Jiko, you can go ahead. Actually,
but when we even look at it according to the Constitution, there is nowhere that a formator has that type of power to speak like that to any candidate. But here we are talking about human dynamics. Remember how we started this whole conversation, toxicity of seminary formation, and I think we all agreed that time that some persons, some individuals, is based on what they do that we are talking about this toxicity, not the system per se. So it would be strange to me to hear that an individual sister or priest somewhere gets so intoxicated with power and makes such statements on the candidate. It's not right. We know it's not right, but sometimes it does happen. I don't want to excuse it as a human failure, human weaknesses, and whatever, but it does happen sometimes. And that is where the hurt comes from the candidates when things like this are being said. And the one sad thing also is that sometimes these things are even not made known to the appropriate authority at that time, because there's always an authority that is higher than that of the formator when we're talking of in religious life, whether as aspirants, postulants, or novices.
Well, yeah, I think you make a very candid point. I think it's a point that John, Father Jah Rastafari, let me use Achemus language, but I think that you've mentioned that distinction that we have sought to make between the system, as it were, and the requirements of the system, and what people uphold, what we've called subculture, over and over again. And you've spoken about it from a dimension of accountability. John, do you mind throwing more light at what you think, or how do you think? Sister has raised a good point that there are people above superiors, and that formandis can make this known at the time when it's happening to that person above the superior. In your experience, I also have experience within the Nigerian formation system, but in your experience, and maybe but Justin, you can also speak to this. Do you think that there is a way, maybe an affirmative way or another way, we can bring in this accountability question for somebody who is directly setting in the formandi in this way?
I think every one of us here who has been through the system in Nigeria can tell that there is no system of accountability for formators, unless for very serious reasons of scandal would you hear that a formator has been removed. But issues as the former sister was mentioning, issues like that, you usually don't have anyone holding the formator accountable. There has not been such case in my experience, unless for very serious issues. So sister is right. What started this whole conversation is the individuals, the subcultural issues, and how what is in the document is being lived out in the seminary formation and religious houses. But within the system itself, there is a lack. There is nothing within the system that enforces and checks the formators. And every one of us can testify to that, going by our own individual experiences, or even what happened to people that we knew in the seminary before they left. So sister is correct in what she was saying, but at the same time, within the system that she is saying that is okay, there is still no system of accountability within the system.
For Justin or for the esophagus. So we have you. You're safe. Do you want to throw some light to that by any of your experience while we see if she'll be joining us again? You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
All right. This is a common thing in most seminaries. I wouldn't say all. Perhaps I'll leave the rest for the ones that are probably doing it. It's very common in houses of formation and seminaries in Nigeria. If I would try to compare and contrast my experience here and also what I experienced over there in Nigeria, we see that we just keep formators there, just as Father John had stated. We just keep them there, and perhaps if we only remember to change them after something horrible had happened, or okay, he has overstayed, so let us just change them. This accountability stuff is not just checked. Okay, you are expelling the seminarian, or you are asking them to go on probation, all of that. So this is the reason, part of the reason why we are also here, taking on this program, listening to people, and also why people would come online and say something like this. While we were discussing this, someone just stated right here on the screen that it's a normal thing, and he was not only threatened, he was abused and deformed, and that alone struck my mind. So this is something that we can actually look into this sincerely. And if you're a formator in Nigeria watching us right now, this is something in the spirit of Christianity we should really place at the forefront of our discussions. Sadly, I can't vouch for any house of formation or seminary that would say that yes, they have this accountability structure. It's very sad, very, very sad compared to what we have seen outside.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think again, things like this is particularly the reason why we started this work. Achim, you wanted to say something before I make a comment on that?
Okay. Like every other person has said, it's a normal thing in our society, in our formation houses, right? But you call it a subculture, right? But coming from for me, I think I see it as a colonial system that our society has inherited. Our formation is a place where you'll be threatened. I remember the word was used for me before the congregation after 11:30 Mass. He said, I will make sure you are not ordained in this diocese. You will never be a priest. A priest said that to me. But again, looking back today, am I holding him accountable? It is the culture, the subculture you often talk about, Father Angel. Our system is a system that has been inherited from a colony. Look at our police. It's the same thing. Try our police on the road. They'll tell you, I'll shoot you, I'll kill you. Nothing will happen. That is the culture. You meet people and they tell you, do you know who I am? So everywhere, everybody wants to dominate, right? But this is not an excuse for those who are formators, because we understand that some of us are well-read, or some of the formators are well-read, some are even well-traveled, some have been to these parts of the world or other parts of the world where you have seen better way and a decent way. Some were even formed in a more decent place. So the scripture says, to whom much is given, much is expected, right? We expected something better. And I hope there will be a change in metanoia in our formation houses. This subculture, this inherited colonial mentality that we've all inherited as Africans, as Nigerians, right? So that we correct people in love, but not threaten them, right? People have been told, I will make sure you are not ordained in this diocese or in this congregation. If I become a priest with you, you will never get my vote. Such utterances. Have we thought of the impact of them in people's psyche? And then you see even these people who have gone through this culture, subculture, now become a priest. What do you expect? Of course, they do the same thing. So it begins a circle of a mental abuse, dehumanization of the human person in our society. I pray the Holy Spirit guide us and direct us so that we begin to show love in our formations and then learn not to use ugly phrases, but show people love and concern. If not for anything, at least for the sake of the fact that they're human beings who freely, out of their own volitions, have given themselves to be formed, and they should be formed in Christian charity. Thank you.
Yeah, I really, really, really appreciate this dimension. There was a conversation I was having a couple of days ago with a few priest friends, and they kind of referenced this. I just did not pick on it, and it wasn't as spot on in my thinking as you have just pointed out. But that whole notion, that whole idea where people want to beat down on that person, that play of power and authority. And so for me, when you share this, I begin to look at it as an opportunity for our formation houses and our formation systems to evangelize our culture's use of power. You know, and when I say to evangelize our culture's use of power, I imagine, and I'm an internal optimist, I hold myself a check on that. I always believe it's possible. I think that if people were to go to churches and see church leaders, for example, use power in such a way that it becomes service, then it will be something very fruitful to the general psyche of our people, you know. And I think that's maybe something we might want to consider as we begin to push this narrative of let there be a change in our system's use of power. And I can really think, as I say this, to see what could be, what do you think? Because it's one thing to identify the problem, and I'm throwing this open. I see lots of comments on that. I probably might pick up one or two of them before we round up. I throw this open, Sister Jacob, if you have something to say. You had mentioned earlier on the fact that when such things happen, when a formator threatens another formandi in this way, or in this kind of harsh use of power or abusive use of power, there could be an immediate report. Is there a suggestion you might want, or is there an appeal you might want to make, given this opportunity to formators that we have in our formation systems? A suggestion, an appeal, a word of invitation, you know.
Oh, of course, I have some words for the formators. First is that we have to remember that God is the ultimate formator. It is God that is doing the formation. The formators are just instruments in the hands of God. So with that guiding principle, it will help them to soft pedal, and use of words like, do you know that I'm going to write your report? Any form of threatening should be out of it completely. And I know that formation is not easy. I've been through it. Sometimes you have some candidates that are giving stress. Yes, that's a fact. But one also needs a lot of patience. One needs really to be attentive and to be vigilant. Bring all these things, the mistakes to them without threatening them. Yes, let them know that what they have done is wrong or is right, but don't threaten them. And also remember that you really can't change anybody. It's only God that can do it, because it's God that gave the vocation. He called these candidates, and He's the one that will really form them. While I encourage them to do the work, because we also know too that formation work is not what many priests, many sisters want to do. We all run away from it. But somebody has to form somebody. Somebody has to form somebody. So for those who are in the formation work, we say, well done. But then please exercise more patience.
Yeah, thank
And
you. Thank you once again. Prince, are you saying
please,
something for Justin?
yeah, please. I'll just like to add to what Sister said. Formation, yes, there are some priests or some religious that do not like to be in the formation house. Right here in Brazil, yes, I accompany those information, and at the same time, I'm able to spend some time rather on my chaplaincy activities. I think people should not be forced. Priests and religious should not be forced into formation. When somebody is asked to go to the formation house to form young seminarians or young religious, they should accept it wholeheartedly. If there is maybe some form of reservation, I think they shouldn't be, asked or forced. Let me use that word forced, like just go. This is what is really lacking here. The superior just looks at somebody and says, okay, go to the formation house, perhaps just to, punish the priest, just to be there. And is there setting bad example? This is something we also, should be looking into. Many of these formators do not even attend that program. There's what they call a formators course. They don't attend this program. They just go there. The ill that were transferred to them, while they were in the formation house, they become priests and they transfer it to others, and they play God. You know that your final year result depends on me. Your evaluation depends on me. Without me, you go nowhere, and this is a problem. So the more we see these as also something more spiritual, the better, because at the end of the day, we think we are dealing with people, we are destroying people's vocation, and definitely will answer that before God someday. So there will be a God who would also sit on the throne and put us in front of him and tell us, I'm in charge here, and without this, you will not get into heaven. So this is the basic thing we should be placing just before us when we consider these things. And these are the areas we are bringing forth to be looked into, and this is where this whole story lies. So just to add a little to what Sister said, I'm here today accompanying them in the function because I like it, and I find it interesting. And at the end of the semester, I will also be evaluated. Students will also evaluate me based on what I've said, based on the way I have accompanied them, not just be there and be dishing out threats on people. So for me, those two should be treated as well.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for that part. And talking about that, I think Father John had mentioned that, but we see your back, sister. We were picking up at the core of your story because we think you had really touched the part, and we're talking specifically to that idea of being bullied and being shouted down on and threatened. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yes,
No,
I
I
can hear
mean,
you.
okay, great.
Yes.
So
Could you please repeat yourself?
Yes, I can
that
hear
was
you.
just great, fantastic. So we were talking about that. Just a question for you, because we are looking to round up. Unfortunately, your connection has really hampered or hindered our free flow of conversation. But just to ask you a question, at these times in your formation where you were being bullied and being threatened, did you have any other source, any other higher superior above your mistress at the time that you could report to? Was this something available to you?
Yes, I would have because during during my time of formation, we attend occasions where we meet other professors.
I think we're losing her once again. She's really cracking up and hanging. But I think I had heard from her saying yes, that they encountered other professors. I don't know if we all heard that part, but she's still talking. I hope she can come through.
Yeah, I heard her. I heard that part. But I think her network, she's struggling with it.
Yeah, she's struggling with it. Let me try to see if I can reach her on WhatsApp.
I think she's back. Just hold on. Let's see if we can hear. Sister Goretti, can you speak? Yeah. So we'll wait for you to get her back on WhatsApp. Right, while you do that.
I'm trying to see if I can get on WhatsApp so we can round off and see. But even on WhatsApp, the connection is not coming really.
Just to support what you say for the CJ, for the Fagus, right? I just finished teaching summer class last week. Guess what? I just saw my email. I was copied the evaluation from the students. I was evaluated for teaching just 8 weeks summer class, not to talk of regular semester. So accountability, I wish it's something our church will listen to and imbibe. And beyond the culture or the subculture, also for Angelbert, you have talked about this with Fortunatus, the culture of clericalism also, right? If you see some of the comments coming here, they don't sound good about religious or priests. Somebody said some of them are, I don't want to use those words. So, for Angelbert, you're mute in case you got her on phone.
Yes, I think I got her on here. I would just want to see if she can speak, and let's see if we can get her. Because she said there's a call button to round off on. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
Two systems are clashing, so I think you're echoing.
On my echo, she can speak directly to my Okoin.
For the Angelbert, if you can hear us, it's really.
That was his real voice. That was his real voice.
It's something like a robot in space or something.
The connection is pretty bad. Let me try to.
Wow.
All of you are not good people of God.
All of
you are not good people of God. Here am I, I'm struggling to bring back the connection, and you all are really just laughing at me.
Okay, I think.
Can you hear me?
Can
you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Very well.
We heard your accusation.
Yeah, all of you are not good people of God. And
we appreciate the comic relief.
But just I think because I disconnected from my headphones and I was trying to talk with her, she was saying there's a core part of the story which she would have loved to share, but unfortunately, to all those who are watching and who come across this, we're not been able to get her back on. But we really do appreciate your time because we'll be rounding off. The hope was that she would have concluded
And I'm sorry if there was any miscommunication. I heard John say that's his real voice. I don't know which one is my real voice. Like, okay. But to thank every one of us. But to thank every one of us who's been here, those who are backstage, those of us who are up front stage, Achemo, for the Sophagos, for the Jara Stafari, for the kid, the prefect. Mali, somebody had shared earlier on the joy of you being in a cassock, and as far as I know, you are a single man, and that's all that the church needs to have you as a priest. But we say this with joy.
Not for long, not for long.
Not for long, not for long. Yeah.
Why they do wrong prophecy? All right, but we thank everyone who has been on. We thank all those who have been able to comment in the comment sections for your lovely contributions. We see what you all, because we all are standing in that same space with you. We thank you for being part of what we are trying to do here. The goal, as always, is to open the doors for the journey of healing to begin. And so we commend everybody who has shared on here to the prayers that we offer. We thank all those who continuously reach us. You would see on the comments, there's a link there. If you would love to share your story with us, please kindly just click on that link. There will be some questions to answer. It's not anything probing. It's just so that you are aware what we are doing. It's not an indictment. It's a hope for us to open up conversation towards healing and utmost reformation as we could get them within our seminary system. Thank you, brothers. Is there anybody who wants to make a final comment before we invite Mali to lead us in the closing prayer?
Announcement.
We can't hear you.
Announcement just before we go. Can you guys all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Can you all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just a quick announcement. We'll be coming your way again. For now, not every week, but every other week. So if you don't see us next Sunday, it's not because we're not, but we're listening to other persons privately, right? And we'll be coming your way publicly again the upper Sunday. So hang on, stay tuned. We always hear your friends. 7 p.m. West African time, Nigerian time. I don't like that West African time, Nigerian time. 2 p.m. Eastern time. And I think 11.
11.
Right? Father Angel, correct me.
Yeah, Californian time.
Okay.
Yes, 11
California time. And then 6 p.m. Chief Mali in your hands, right? Is it 6 p.m. or yes? And then Father John, Father Prince Chidi was not able to be, but it's the same time. And then Father Sosofa. So that's just by way of announcement. And then let me create a caveat to all our formators, past and present. This is not ad hominem. We've not come here to attack you. We've not come here to wash you out. We've not come here to drag you like Nigerian better passive generator. We are here also to show appreciation for the work and then to offer our own perspective, how best we can do it better for the good of the church and for the betterment of mankind. I just said I should do that because somebody's
somebody's TV is on behind the scenes. Mali, maybe you. And just to add to that real quick, the reason we are coming every other week publicly now is because the alternate week we'll be listening to people privately. So if you also don't want your story publicly, we offer that space for those who share privately, just to add some clarification to the announcement that Chemo made. And then, so finally, Mali, when you're ready, you could close us with the prayer for the day.
Okay, let us pray. In the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
I help us in the name of the Lord, who made heaven
Who made heaven and earth.
Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
Dear God, we thank you for yet another listening session. Thank you for always guiding us and for ordering our words in your own ways. We ask that you continue to make this platform a blessing to everyone who comes to share their stories. And we ask that you send your Holy Spirit to dwell with them and help them to heal and move forward in their lives. We also ask that you inspire formators in seminaries and formators in convents, that they may understand that their call is to lead people to Christ and not to harm them by their own shortcoming. And that your Holy Mother will continually be with seminarians and priests all those information to help them in the right way. All this and many more we ask through Christ our Lord.
Amen. The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
May the blessing of the Almighty God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit come upon us and remain with us forever.
Amen.
Thank you, Rex, for your story. Thank you, Goretti, for your story. And see you all in 2 weeks' time.
Amen.
Chem, over
Thank
to
you,
you.
Father. Good evening, Mr. Chem. Bye.